everyone. 13th June 2022, but yes, as it is Monday, we will have small Monday motivation story and then we will look into all the important articles, right? So yes, the story is related to the obstacles that are there in our path. Yes, good morning. So basically we should look at all these obstacles as an opportunity. So there was a king, and one fine day what he did is he put a large boulder or rock in the path, or we can say road in a village. Okay, and he hid from that place and just observe the people, how they reacted to that stone or boulder. So many people tried to cross that road, but no one tried to move that boulder or rock. Okay, so there came one farmer with his bullock cart while let's say carrying all the vegetables and agriculture produce, and he sees that rocks, and then he stepped down from the bullock cart and start pushing that rock aside the road. And yes, after so many efforts, he is successful in keeping that rock from in the sideways of the road, and then he starts going back to the bullock cart. And when he is passing the road, he suddenly sees a purse full of gold coins. Okay, and there is a note written by the king that this particular purse belongs to the one who moved that rock from the road. So this shows that basically the one who puts the efforts to remove the obstacles from their path, to achieve their success, to achieve their dreams, to live their dreams, there will be some kind of, let's say, opportunities always there. Okay, so those who are always motivated persons, they see the obstacles as an opportunity to grow in their life, to get success in their life. So same is applied to you also. There will be so many obstacles in this journey of preparation. So you may find that yes, prelims examination is difficult, mains examination is difficult. You may find that some concept you are not understanding properly. But try to understand that once you cross that barrier, then yes, of course there will be fruits of that efforts, hard work that you are putting in. Right, so that's why we are saying that you should look at all the challenges and hurdles as an opportunity to grow in your life. Right? Yes. So let's see which are the important articles. Look at the first page. Adani Power Project spark row in Sri Lanka. Right. So in past we had covered that a particular power plant is awarded to Adani Powers, and now one of the official of Sri Lankan government has said that while awarding this power plant to Adani Powers, basically our Prime Minister had some kind of pressure on Sri Lankan president to award this project. This is very big statement, try to understand. ठीक है, और ऐसा बिग स्टेटमेंट देना कोई भी एक बड़े ऑफिशियल्स, मतलब ये एलिगेशंस कहीं ना कहीं मतलब मैटर करते हैं, राइट? Although the statement was withdrawn by that person or official, at the same time later the Sri Lankan president also tweeted that no, there are, let's say, these are baseless allegations and there was no such pressure, and whatever the power project was awarded, it was based on the objective criteria. Okay, so you should be aware about these developments. We are surely expecting question this year itself in mains examination, India-Sri Lanka relations. So many developments, like fishermen issue was there in news, and this Sri Lankan crisis that is going on, we are extending help. All these developments, they are very important. India and neighborhood, it is part of our syllabus. Then on bottom side, abnormal dinosaur egg found in India. Okay, so where it is found? In Bagh, Madhya Pradesh. You may be aware about the Bagh caves of Madhya Pradesh, where the fossils from the ancient times have been, let's say, found, they have been discovered. At the same time, in those caves, the from the ancient times, there have been some kind of habitations in those caves by the human. तो वो आपको एक अवेयरनेस होना चाहिए. एंड दिस पार्ट इज रिलेटेड टू ज्योग्राफी एंड साइंस, टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस link between the reptiles and avians, that is birds. In birds only such kind of, let's say, egg in egg kind of we can say, it is believed that dinosaurs had reproductive functions similar to that of turtles and other reptiles, while the birds with separate regions of membrane and shell deposition. So ये जो है, जो birds में मिलता है वो डायनासोर में भी था. So it shows some kind of evolutionary link. Okay, so yes, it is relevant to our prelims examination. Then there is one article, Modern Times. Watch, keep an eye on workers. Now this was in news 2 years back when this initiative was launched by the Chandigarh Municipal Corporation. And that time we had in our ethics test series one case study framed on the basis of this issue. Okay, it relates to GS4 ethics part. Why? Because such kind of, let's say, use of GPS tracking of workers, it is nothing but kind of modern enslavement. ठीक है, ये kind of modern slavery है, right? Why? Because they are continuously being tracked. And these watches, what let's say the government or municipal corporation has given the reason for such kind of use of technology to ensure that the, let's say, attendance is there, at the same time the workers are not misusing the working hours, and all these things are mentioned. So we will talk from ethics perspective this particular article. We will try to find out what are the ethical issues involved in this. Fine. Come to page number 6. Musings on Indic civilization and Indianness. So article written by Shashi Tharoor. I have already told you he writes very good articles related to, we can say, Indian culture also, society, polity part also, and IR section. Okay, so that's why his articles, at the same time the language he uses, very good language, some new, let's say, aspects we learn from his articles for essay perspective also. This article is very relevant to essay writing also, right? Society and essay. Okay, so in this article he is discussing about the Indic civilization, or we can say that India's civilizational links to some of the other countries, especially the Colombia and Indonesia in Southeast Asia. Right, and at present, let's say, how Indian civilization is changing, ये सारी चीज़ें वहाँ पे mention की है. तो I would suggest all of you to read this article. We'll discuss also simultaneously. Now other articles, see, they are not that much relevant because they are either political or those, let's say, IR sections are there, but they are not relevant to India. ठीक है. Now on page number 7, on bottom side, Environment Performance Index 2022 was released, and India is ranked as the last country among 180. Now this was a kind of shock even to the government and all people of India, because this must not be true actually. ठीक है.
We are not supporting the Indian government persons.
No, that is different thing, but the thing is ki already we have laws in India and they are being followed, although there are some loopholes in, you know, environmental governance and jurisprudence. But the thing is, we should understand that we have governance, environmental governance. अगर ऐसे कंट्रीज होते हैं जहाँ पे मतलब ये टाइप का लॉज ही नहीं होता है या गवर्नेंस ही नहीं, वहाँ पे भी मतलब इंडिया का रैंक पीछे कैसे हो सकता है. बट फॉर आवर एग्जामिनेशन वी विल ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट द ऑब्जेक्टिवली what criteria is used to arrive at this particular index, and whether it is annual, biannual index, who published this particular index, what is India's score and all. Okay, so it is relevant to prelims examination. On page number 8, bottom side, Financial Action Task Force FATF and Pakistan's position on its grey list. Although that is not relevant to us, Pakistan's position, but FATF is relevant to our prelims examination. how this particular body was established, for what reason, what are its objectives, then whether India is member or not, what is grey list, what is black list, what is its significance, right? So it is very important for prelims examination. Okay, now
Sir, in second page, regarding to education, they given
which one?
page number second CD1. Cannot enforce the.
Second page?
Cannot enforce.
Can't enforce RT unconditionally on private schools. Yes, of course. See, unconditionally means basically there will be some conditions. No, private schools, yes, they are supposed to implement RT. Okay, but some of the provisions of RT are voluntary, some of them are compulsory. Okay, and at the same time there will be variations in terms of different kinds of fees in the private sector.
Then what is the benefit of implement of the policies?
See, benefit is that basically all children from socio-economic backward classes, or we can say poor strata of society, they have equal opportunity to get quality education. Are you getting this? So that is very important, right? Because yes, it is some kind of true that the private institutions have a more quality of education, especially for primary education. It is true, right? So that's why let's say to ensure the quality education to all children irrespective of their background, such kind of law is very important. But also we should understand private sector work for some kind of profit. Although education is non-profit, we can say entity, but still we should understand for infrastructure and all kind of services they are providing, some kind of money is required. That's why the fee structure is different. Okay? Yes. So let us go in detail one by one. First, musings on in the civilization and Indianness. See, this article is having context of present divisions in the country on the basis of religion, caste, or we can say region or ethnicity. So because of that we should go back to the Indian civilization, the start of Indian civilization, and how it became the blend of different religions at various aspects, how India taught to other countries the richness of religion including Hindu religion. ये सारी चीज़ें आपको पता होनी चाहिए. We are expecting that either question on secularism, or we can say essay topic on secularism, or let's say religious harmony, the unity in diversity and that aspect. So you prepare one essay on this topic surely, और उसके लिए ये आर्टिकल पढ़ने के बाद आपको काफ़ी इनपुट्स मिलेंगे. Now in first part a very good example is mentioned. Angkor Wat is basically Hindu temple where in Cambodia. Now it is the greatest Hindu temple ever built anywhere in the world. Okay, so it is huge monument we can say, and it is not in India, rather it is in Cambodia. Hinduism was brought to Cambodia by merchants and travelers more than millennium ago, right? So during medieval time period, when North India was struggling for power, South Indian states basically focused more on trade with Southeast Asian countries. Right, yes. It's like Kakatiya's kingdom in Andhra Pradesh, at present day Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Kakatiya kingdom is there. Then Pallavas, then yes, we can say Chola kingdom was there, Pallavas and Cheras. Cheras were in Kerala, present day Kerala, Cholas and Pallavas in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, right? So they had a strong navy. At the same time the merchants and traders, they had trade with Southeast Asian countries during medieval time period, and they carried the message of religion with them. They tried to persuade the people in those areas to adopt these religions. This is how the Hinduism along with later Buddhism reached to these Southeast Asian countries. But आपको पता होना चाहिए बुद्धिज्म से पहले हिंदुइज्म वहाँ पे पहुँचा था. Okay, so yes, Now, to this day, at present day, even let's say some of these countries are following the Hinduism or culture of Buddhism. The kings of Thailand are crowned in the presence of Brahmin priests today also. Then Muslims of Java or Indonesia, we can say, still bear Sanskritized names despite of their conversion to Islam, a faith whose adherents normally bear names originating in Arabia. Then Garuda is in Indonesia's national airline. Okay, so then Ramayana, its best-selling brand of cigars. Even Philippines has produced a pop dance ballad about Rama's quest for his kidnapped queen. So this is how even present day, let's say Southeast Asian countries have practices linked to Hinduism. Now, old Thai kingdom of Ayutthaya derived its name from Indian Ayodhya. And the places in Thailand are associated with events in Ramayana epic such as hill where Hanuman was sent to find Sanjeevani. So, you can give these examples in essay paper. Okay, so the Indian civilization, origin of Indian civilization. At the same time, we should understand that present day sociologists, they believe that the geographical idea of India and geopolitical idea of India are inadequate for the civilizational idea of India is much broader. This shows civilizational, we can say, idea of India, because it is spread not only in the India's neighborhood in South Asia like Sri Lanka, Nepal or Bangladesh or Bhutan. Rather, we can say that it has reached to other countries in Eastern Asia. You give these examples, and that's why civilizational idea of India is much broader, and that's why the writer is saying that we should have pride in India's civilization.
Malaysia also biggest Hindu temples is.
Yes, geographical idea of India is the geographical boundary. When we talk about geopolitical idea of India, it's like the political boundary of India. Okay, in a political sense we can say. But the specifically when we talk about civilizational idea of India, it is, having link to Eastern Asia also. Now, in addition to this, what should be, we call as India's civilization? Is it only Hinduism? No. India's civilization is blend of different religions and the cultures associated with it. Okay, so we should understand here that the civilizational idea of India is the blend of different religions
Including Vedas also. Vedas will be combination of all religions.
So this is Hinduism. Vedas will call in Hinduism only. Okay, so
But they
yes,
follow the different religion people also.
oh, that is fine. You should be knowing some examples, prominent examples from all this. When we talk about Hindu culture, you talk about rich culture of Hinduism, like we talk about tolerance, we talk about pluralism, plurality, these values you should talk, right? Then in Buddhism, you should talk about peace and prosperity, non-violence you should talk about. In terms of Islam, you should talk about the charity, the values of forgiveness. ये आपने बात करनी चाहिए. When we talk about Jainism, you should talk about again the principles of non-violence, asteya, non-stealing. We learn these principles in Jainism, right? Zoroastrians, they have some kind of unique, let's say, aspects or expertise in terms of money or capitalism, capitalist. So many of these are capitalist. We have seen that the Parsi people in Mumbai, they have been the capitalist for the start of textile industry in Mumbai, है ना? तो उनके बिना हम बोल सकते हैं कि कंट्री जो है वो इंडिया नहीं बोल सकते हैं हम, right? You should give such example. At the end of this article, the very good idea is mentioned about India. Yes, So Indian civilization today an evolved hybrid that draws as much from influence of Islam, Buddhism, Christianity, Sikhism. Not to mention 2 centuries of British colonial rule also. Like cricket, it is new religion for Indians, and it is basically the gift of British rule in India, right? अगर ब्रिटिशर्स नहीं होते तो क्रिकेट इतना फेमस होता क्या इंडिया में? नहीं होता ना, right? Yes. So like for example, can we speak of Indian culture today without Qawwali, the poetry of Ghalib, or for that matter the game of cricket, our de facto national sports, right? So when an Indian dons a national dress for formal event, he wears a variant of sherwani. Like IAS officers, those wear जोधपुरी है ना, उनका formal event, formal जो attire जिसको बोलते हैं हम, official attire, जोधपुरी jacket they wear. So it is a variant of sherwani. Again, it is part of Islam culture, right? So that's why at the end a very good statement is mentioned. Let us treat our civilizational heritage as a matter of pride and not the parochialism, as a heritage that unites rather than divides one Indian from other. This should be directly written in our essay. Parochialism matlab narrowness, narrow thinking. This is mine, this is yours.
But here the more the diversity is there.
Yes, so we should promote that inclusive culture, diversity, tolerance. These values should be promoted. Okay, so yes, you read this article line to line, you take some good captions out of this article, you directly use that in your essay. Modern times, watches keep an eye on workers. Basically, 2 years back, the Chandigarh Municipal Corporation had implemented this GPS enabled watches on Safai Karmacharis. Like they are having these watches compulsory, like a wristband, and this is GPS enabled, so as to ensure that they are having 100% attendance, and the let's say the workers attendance is ensured through that GPS watch. But you should understand that there are some ethical issues involved here. Ethical issues related to, first thing you should know about is the dignity of human being. This is very, very essential human value.
Human violation.
Yes,
Right.
dignity of human being, right? So if suppose a person is forced to wear that watch, then of course the dignity is violated. Why? Because that is being tracked. The person is continuously being tracked. So dignity, so how it is affected? Because of privacy is violated. Privacy of the person, especially women. Suppose the examples are mentioned like women are going to washroom.
Yes, right.
So whether that will be also tracked here?
Track each and every.
It is violation of dignity of the person when we say violation of privacy. Second thing, it is kind of slavery. What used to happen in the ancient times or medieval times, the slaves used to be chained. The workers, slave workers used to be chained, है ना, so that they are not leaving the arena. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? They are being tracked again. It is kind of modern enslavement. It is ethical issue.
In British time they will put one rod in there.
Yes, so that's why we are saying that it is not a good practice here. At the same time, whether the technology should be used to that extent so that the human becomes the slave of technology, or whether the technology should aid the human. Okay, so here basically the technology is given preference than the human dignity, right? So these are the important ethical issues you should talk about when such kind of case study is there. Basically there was so much criticism, but still this particular initiative is not scrapped.
Actually here we need to improve the technology to solve the problems. But
Yes, there can be alternate solution, no?
solutions is there. So, but here creating the problem to.
Yes, basically to solve the issue of attendance, they are using this technology, but they are not considering human as human. We should write like this. Okay, there can be alternative solution. You propose alternative solution. For example, what you can propose in this particular case, like the workers themselves, among the worker, one person a day can be given responsibility to ensure that workers remain in the premises.
In the supervising area.
Yes, so one person alternatively each day they can be given this responsibility, right? So, but such kind of use of technology is basically not good, or we can say that it is inhuman practice. Then Adani Power Project sparks row in Sri Lanka. Just now we talked about this. You should be aware about such kind of instances or those developments in IR section, India Sri Lanka relations. So I told you how to make notes of IR section. You should be having, let's say, bilateral relations of India with different countries, important countries, especially India neighborhood and other important countries like US, Japan, Australia, UK, जो major countries है, Russia, South Africa, वो और इंडिया के नेबर हर एक कंट्री के साथ यहाँ पर bilateral. Then India and multilateral grouping, like for example ASEAN, for example BRICS, for example European Union, for example Shanghai Cooperation Organization. You prepare notes region wise or regional block wise. Okay, and third, you should let's say prepare notes related to reforms in international bodies, in UN, WTO, World Health Organization, UNESCO, UNSC, reforms. Every year UPSC asks question related to it. Okay, and in general, when new development happens related to geopolitics of Indo-Pacific, South China Sea, Indian Ocean, this is relevant to our examination because India's interests are involved. All questions are basically revolving around this. Fine? Okay. Yes. Yes. Now, FATF and Pakistan's position on its grey list. About FATF, quickly we'll find out the information related to Financial Action Task Force. Basically, this FATF plenary session will happen from June 14 to 17 in Berlin, and Pakistan want to get out of grey list. That's why it is taking some efforts. Now, what is FATF? Financial Action Task Force is international watchdog for financial crimes such as money laundering and terror financing. When this was established and who established? It was established at G7 summit of 1989 in Paris to address loopholes in global financial systems after member countries raised concern about growing money laundering activities. G7 countries meeting in Paris in 1989. This established FATF. At present, it is having total 39 members including India. Okay. Later on, the mandate of this FATF was including terror financing and, let's say, funding of weapons of mass destruction. All this is included. Money laundering, terror financing and funding to weapons of mass destruction. Okay. Now, yes, the highest decision making body of FATF is its plenary that meets thrice a year. एक साल में वो 3 बार मिलते हैं. ठीक है, and basically it sets standards and recommendations for countries to achieve in order to plug the holes in their financial systems and make them less vulnerable to illegal financial activities. Basically, it is standard setting organization. It provides some standards for countries to adopt so that such kind of loopholes in the financial system of that country are plugged, so that the funding to terror activities is not there or money laundering is not there. Now what are grey and black list? Basically FATF does not maintain actually grey and black names. It does not give name of grey list or black list. Rather it gives the name as first one. At the end of every plenary meeting, FATF comes out with two lists. Okay, so the grey countries are designated as jurisdiction under increased monitoring. उसको grey list बोला गया है informally. It is not the formal name. Jurisdiction under increased monitoring, working with the FATF to counter criminal financial activities. Basically, it provides the idea to other countries whenever they are dealing with that country that you should be cautious. You should monitor the situation. ठीक है? Like for example, at present Pakistan is in grey list. So if suppose any European country wants to invest in Pakistan, they should be monitoring the finances of that country because it is in grey list. Then currently 23 countries including Pakistan are in grey list. Now what is black list?
So nothing but they will alert the 23 countries now, sir.
No, not 23 countries. Basically they provide standards to these 23 countries to adopt. Okay, and it is kind of alert to other countries dealing with these 23 countries that you keep check on the finances while dealing with these countries. There can be money laundering issue, terror financing and all. Okay, then blacklist, it means countries designated as high risk jurisdiction subject to call for action. Now this is problematic here, right? In this case the countries have considerable deficiencies in their anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing regimes, and the body calls on the members and non-members to apply enhanced diligence while dealing with these countries. Okay. Then currently North Korea and Iran are in blacklist. North Korea and Iran are in blacklist. Being listed under FATF, what is the significance here? Makes it hard for the countries to get aid from organizations like IMF, ADB, European Union, and it may also affect the capital inflows, foreign direct investment, portfolio investment into that country. This is the significance of maintaining this grey list and blacklist. Now Pakistan is facing a lot of economic problems. It wants to get out of grey list so that they can receive some funding from this organization. Okay? Yes. Abnormal dinosaur egg found in India near Bagh, Madhya Pradesh. Now, egg within egg are rare phenomenon. They are so far known to occur only in birds and never known in reptiles. Dinosaurs part of reptile families. Okay, this discovery brings out newer connections between reptiles and avian evolution. ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. Okay, so egg within egg. Although the crocodiles have separate regions of shell membrane and mineralized shell deposition, they ovulate and release all the eggs simultaneously like turtles and the other reptiles. In birds, ovulation is sequenced and the eggs are laid one at a time. टर्टल्स में क्या होता है, रेप्टाइल्स में और टर्टल्स में एक साथ में सारे एग्स दे जाते हैं. बट इन बर्ड्स बेसिकली द ओव्यूलेशन एंड वी कैन से दैट दिस it is sequenced and eggs are laid one at a time. Okay, so this is the difference from science perspective. You should know this miscellaneous information or aspect, right? Okay, this will give some kind of link to understand the link between reptiles and avians. ठीक है, birds जो हम बोलते हैं. Do you remember the diagram of Archaeopteryx in school level? Archaeopteryx was basically linked between reptiles and the birds. ठीक है, it had that tail also, it had the similar kind of jaw line like reptiles. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे भी हमें कुछ और links मिलेंगे. And you should know in India dinosaurs findings or let's say skeletons are found in North India. ठीक है, North India में हमें वो उसके skeletons मिले हुए हैं. Environment Performance Index 2022 published by researchers from Yale and Columbia universities. Who published this? Yale and Columbia universities. Denmark is ranked first this year with overall score of 77.9, while India scored 18.90 and it is ranked 180th out of 180. Last one. Okay, the report assesses the countries on 40 performance indicators which are grouped into 11 issue categories. At the core of report lie 3 policy objectives. What are these? Environmental health, ecosystem vitality, and third, climate change. Okay, so these under these 3 only, like very good, let's say chart is there in the on the page number 7. The index scores the countries from 0 to 100, 0 being the worst and 100 being the best performance. And among the 11 issue categories, India's performance was poorest in air quality, 179 rank, exposure to heavy metals, 174, quality of biodiversity and habitat, 179, and climate change mitigation, 165. So look at this, you can make a note out of this graph here given in that the Hindu newspaper, and you can see that the 3 policy objectives given the weightage. Environmental health is given the weightage of 20%, then climate change 38% and ecosystem vitality 42%. Now within them the 40 are divided, well, within them first of all 11, then among 11 then total 40, like this. Okay, for example, environmental health, air quality, sanitation and drinking water, heavy metals, waste management. For climate change mitigation is the only criteria. Okay, so you should be knowing at least these 3 here. UPSC may not ask about these 11 we can say issue areas, but yes, India's ranking in some of them you should be knowing, but fine, that is okay. Now this is biennial, यानी कि 2 साल में एक बार आता है environment performance index, biennial, it is not annual index. So yes, what should be answered then?
Not, it is biannual.
Sir, C, 1 and 3 only.
Pinpointed answer.
I think C, 1 and 3 only.
Yes, C is correct answer. So basically here you should know, published by researchers from Yale and Columbia University, this is true. Then it is published annually, this is not correct, it is biennial. So it is once in 2 years. Okay. Now India ranked last among 180 countries ranked in 2022, this year index. So it is last. UPSC may say that it is ranked last or 188th. ऐसे आपको वो ranking भी दे सकते हैं. So you should be knowing this because it is very important. It is in news. 1 and 3 only is correct answer. Yes. Now any question from your side?
So deliberately, in my personal view, sir, whether it is a correct or not, deliberately when the Ukraine-Russia war has been started, India is going to be supporting to Russia views and sometimes is a universal mindset. That's why the Western countries does not have the chance to take any action than India. That's why they are imposing the by reports.
That is fine. See, already let's say ऐसा नहीं है कि पहले अच्छा था. In the earlier we had I guess 168 or something ranking. तो कोई अच्छा नहीं था पहले भी ranking.
Before war
Okay.
it's a good sir. After war only.
We can say that indirectly but not direct links are there, right? Of course. But our government, including Environment Ministry, has rejected the report. Okay, or in that findings of that report. Yes.
सर अभी पहले से एकदम एक आर्टिकल निकला था एनवायरनमेंट से रिलेटेड जिसमें इंडिया में रैंकिंग माइनस मना कर दी, तो क्या वो सर इससे रिलेटेड था?
Sorry.
सर क्या वो इसी आर्टिकल से रिलेटेड था जिसमें इंडिया में रैंकिंग मना कर दी एनवायरनमेंट इशू को लेकर? अभी कुछ दिन पहले आया था, 2 या 3 दिन पहले.
नहीं, वो अलग होगा, ये तो अभी रिलीज हुआ है ना, एनवायरमेंट परफॉर्मेंस इंडेक्स, वो कोई और इंडेक्स होगा।
ओके सर, नहीं सर वो भी एनवायरनमेंट से रिलेटेड है।
हाँ, एनवायरमेंट से रिलेटेड होगा, मे बी द लेट्स से what we can say, climate vulnerability index is there, environment performance index is there, so different indices are there. You should keep this in mind for prelims examination, the basics of these indices, who published this, whether it is annual, biannual, or you should know about when it started. This was started in 2002, first published in 2002. At the same time, you should be knowing India's ranking, India's score specifically also. Okay? Fine, let us stop then.
Welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Study General Studies with Lukmaan IAS for building comprehensive knowledge. GS paper 2 and 4 will be taken by S. Ansari and other papers will be covered by renowned faculties. Live classes are as effective as offline classes. The classes are highly interactive in nature. Your doubts and queries will be addressed and there will be dictation of notes. In the last 10 years, Lukmaan IAS has set up a niche in the field of UPSC guidance.